Hello, everyone, and I hope you're having a fantastic week. So, today we're going to be covering content aware fill. Content aware fill is a powerful tool that allows you to fill a selection with Photoshop generated content. However, unlike the remove tool and the generative expand, content aware fill does not use generative AI or generative credits within Photoshop. Instead, it samples part of your image and fills in the selection based on what Photoshop believes best fit the pixels and objects it sees. Let's learn what sort of decisions it makes and how you can affect the content Photoshop uses to fill these selections. First, let's download our example photo for this lesson, Green Trees During Foggy Day by Cecil Sari. The basic use of the Content Aware Fill tool is fairly simple. First, make a selection around the content you wish to replace using the selection tool, like the lasso tool, quick selection tool, or magic wand tool. Then navigate to Edit in the top menu bar and then select Content Aware Fill. Alternatively, right click inside the selection and choose Content Aware Fill. This will change your workspace to the Content Aware Fill workspace. Your toolbar and panels will be replaced by one specifically used by Content Aware Fill. For now, leave all the options as is. We'll go into the workspace in more detail shortly. Then select OK to replace the selection with surrounding pixels using the Content Aware Fill. Most likely, the default settings for Content Aware Fill have done a reasonable job at filling in the selection we made. This image is well suited for Content Aware Fill. It is a very large image, which gives Photoshop many pixels to work with, and the trees provide a good amount of randomness to allow selections to blend in. Some images will have a more difficult time. Detailed patterns that require precision will require more manual adjustment in the Content Aware Fill workspace. So let's talk about this workspace. There are four main parts of the toolbox, the document window, preview, and Content Aware Fill panel. In the toolbox, there are four main tools to adjust your sampling area or view. The sampling brush tool, which is the first option, allows you to add or subtract from the sampling area by brushing over it with a basic round brush. Brushes that add to the sampling area have a plus inside of them, while those that remove it have a minus inside of them. You can toggle between them by pressing Alt on Windows or Option on Mac. Next, we have the lasso tool. The lasso tool allows you to adjust your selections within the Content Aware workspace. Next, we have the hand tool, which moves the image around the workspace. You can also access this from any other tool by pressing spacebar. And then lastly, we have the zoom tool. This zooms in and out of the image. You can also access this by using Alt plus mouse scroll wheel on Windows or Option plus mouse scroll wheel on Mac. The next part of your workspace is the document window, which displays your image with your selection visible and the sampling area overlaid by a color. Then we have preview, which displays your image with the selection filled in with a content aware fill based on your current sampling area and settings. And next, we have the meat of the workspace, which is the content aware fill panel, which is where you can make a majority of the edits as to how content aware fill works. So let's look at the panel. The sampling area overlay is the first option in the content aware fill panel. It allows you to adjust how the sampling area appears in the document window. Adjusting this can be useful, as different color overlays will be more or less obvious on different images. There are several options here. We have Show Sampling Area, which displays the overlay on the image in the document window. We have Opacity, which controls the transparency of the overlay. We have Color, which assigns a display color to the overlay, and then you can select the color swatch next to it to open the color picker and make a new color. Then we have Indicates, which defines whether the overlay shows the sampling area or the excluded area. I advise you to choose one that you prefer and stick with it. I tend to have the overlay show the sampling area rather than the excluded area. Next, we have the sampling area options. This set of options controls how Photoshop selects the sampling area without any of your manual adjustments or using the sampling brush tool or lasso. Auto looks at the pixels around the edges of the selection and uses content like the surrounding fill area. Rectangular uses a rectangular region around the fill area. Custom removes all automatic sampling to allow you full control over what is and isn't sampled. And then sample all layers, which is a toggleable checkbox, collects source pixels from all visible layers in the document rather than just the current layer. Uh, Now we have fill settings. These options change how Photoshop fills the selected area. Adjusting these can help with more complex selections and images that would struggle with a standard default content aware fill. Color adaptation adjusts contrast and brightness for a smoother match. You might want to use this for gradual color or texture changes. Next, we have rotation adaptation. This aligns rotated or curved patterns with the surrounding content. Then we have scale, which resizes content to match repeating patterns or different sizes or perspective. Lastly, we have mirror, which flips the content horizontally to match symmetrical images. Lastly, output settings allows you to select how the content aware fill is going to appear within your document, whether to be output as a new layer on the existing layer or to duplicate the existing layer with the changes applied. Leaving this on new layer will usually be fine. So let's get into what I want you to do for your assignment. Using the assignment image that we've been working with, I want you to create at least 3 modifications to the image using content aware fill. You may want to remove specific trees, rocks, or the river. Maybe you want to try and expand the visible mountains higher into the fog. Or you could expand the canvas size and then use content aware fill to try and fill in the blank spaces. I think I'm probably going to show an example how to do this in the background of this voiceover. When you're done with your modifications, resize the entire image to be 1000 pixels tall. When you've made your modifications and resized your image, just submit your PSD file, and then you'll be good to go. I hope you continue to have a great week, and I will see you at the next lesson.